Hi everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, you're going to find we do a little bit of everything here. And today is MemoryDex Monday. I had to stop and think what it was called. My brain has gone mush today. We are going to make a simple envelope pocket. Now I've got a couple of tips to share as we go. I'm going to show you the sample that I made first and then tell you that we're not doing anything like the sample. So there you go. I made this one using cardstock, and here's a challenge. When you use cardstock, the MemoryDex punch is not going to go through 2 layers of cardstock. Okay, I should have trimmed that one off before I put the paper on. So that's one tip I have for you today. What you're going to want is a 2-sided paper. I just did this in a cardstock because I wanted to do a test run before I did the video. So there you go. So the paper we're going to use today I think will be much easier. But you're going to need a 2-sided paper. You're going to need an envelope punch board or an envelope that is 4 inches square roughly, or 4 by 4 this way and 6 this way maybe, so that you've got the flap that you can cut. Your base part of your envelope needs to be 4 inches square, and then whatever your flap is. An envelope punch board is much easier to do this with, and then I think I have another example I can show you in a couple of weeks. I'm going to play with it, and I'll have it to show you on Friday for our premiere if it works out. Okay, so let's start with, you're going to need a 2-sided paper, and I'm going to try using this one from Mente. No, actually this is the one I want to use from Mente, because that way I don't have to worry about directional of anything. This is from their Graceful collection from 2021. And before I cut, let's start with the envelope punch board. And if we want our MemoryDex card to be 4 by 4, then we need to have an envelope. For the card size to be 4 by 4, we need a piece of paper that is 6 7/8 inch square. Now, if you've never used an envelope punch board before, this is really super simple. And I'm going to try and bring it up and hope you can see. Where's my pointer thingy? You find your card size, and in this case, we're doing a 4 by 4. Then you go over here and it tells you how big you need to cut your piece of paper. And then the third column is going to tell you where you're going to make your first mark at. And in this case, we're going to do it at the 3.5. So I'll show you how that lines up here in just a minute. Let's cut our paper first. And I'm not going to be too worried about direction on this, but I am going to go ahead and cut off this trim piece off the bottom. Actually, I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to leave it like that. And let's cut from the top. And we need 6 7/8. So there's that one by 6 7/8. So there's that one. Okay. And then this is all we're going to need for this. So I can move the paper trim. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, because I'm not going to need to do anything. I can't get it to stay closed. It's arguing with me. Okay. Now we bring in our envelope punch board, and this is where you need to decide which side you want to be your front. Now I want this to be my liner, so I'm going to score on this side. So I'm going to go over here. Remember, it said my score line is at 3.5. I knew I shouldn't have laid that down. There it is. So the edge of my paper, I brought it over to this 3.5 inch mark. Okay, that's where we start. That's the only measurement you need to worry about. You're going to hold it in place on the 3.5, punch, and then you'll see this little track here. It goes extended all the way to here, and you'll feel that touch in there. Score, turn. Now you see the score line you made? You're going to line it up with that mark, with that guide. And I've got a light here, so I can't quite see where I'm going. But that first one's the only one you need to worry about. And if you're on paper that you can't see, then yes, you can go ahead and watch your 3.5 inch mark come in again. So I'm going to punch. I always punch first. Score. Turn. Punch. Score. Turn. punch, and score. And it's that simple. Now, the next thing you want to do, you've got these little bits. They make neat flower petals, or you can just toss them. I'm getting really good at tossing. So then you're going to fold your flaps up, your two sides, and what one is going to be your bottom. Go ahead and fold those up. You're going to wind up saving this paper, so don't worry about it. And remember, we want to go ahead and fold it, score it on both sides, so everything lays nice and flat. Even if you're not going to keep them, that lets you get a better, get you a better mark to work with if it's nice and creased good. Okay, so there's my sides and my bottom. Now I could do this and leave it the way it is, and you know what? I think I will. I think I will. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down. And I'm not going to distress this because I want this flap to lay in here before I do that. Oops, before I do that. I want to round this off a little bit. Now in the other one I used a die that I had. But for this one, I just want to curve that off a little bit. So let's see what I have here that I can use. I think this lid will work well if I don't spill the little beads everywhere. And I'm just going to mark that up there. Get my pencil. And just trace that off, just like that. Boy, I should have my glasses on to do that, shouldn't I? Let's see if we can make it a little more level, shall we? There we go. Good enough for paperwork. And then you're just going to follow that pencil line around. Take your time. You don't need to get in a hurry. Now, if you've got a circle die that you could trace around or something like that, now you can see it's not totally centered. Do I care? Nope. It's just paper. Just paper. But now that I have that, now I can come back and I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot of glue right here to hold that in place. And maybe hold it a little bit longer. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trace my edge, not all the way up. I'm going to leave it open about half an inch there so it doesn't go all the way up. And we're just going to let that one sit for a minute. Now, while this is drying, I'm going to go back to that collection. And I have the 8x8. And I want to see what kind of journaling cards they gave me in here. Look at these. Aren't these pretty? Now I could use a frame, but I really like these. And we're going to make a nice cluster at the top. Ooh, that would be pretty. That would be pretty up there. That was the big one I almost pulled out. And then it repeats. Now we've got the big frames, but I really think I like this. Let's see if we can do something with that. Oh, and something with this. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're at 8 minutes. We're doing great. So, I'd like to try and keep this here, but I'm not sure how. I don't think that's going to be big enough. Let's start here. Does that gives us quite a bit. Let's try that and come back in again with our pencil. And if it's not right, what's the word? It's only paper. I came down a little too far on that. Let's back that up a little bit. But I did get the keys in there, and that was kind of cool. Let's come down just a little bit more. Because I really like having those keys in there. I cannot pick up things today, I'm telling you. And I'm just going to come in like this. And I'm wondering if I went backwards. I'll bet I did. I'll bet I did. Let's see what happens. Because see, yep, I wanted it to go this way, which means those keys are not going to work. All else fails. Do it again. Oh, now here's an idea. Here is a fabulous idea. Let's go back to that one again with the keys. Nope, it's not going to be big enough. Let's do the wreath. That's what we need to do. Then this is where you just play with your toys. I didn't have anything on the other one. I didn't need anything on the other one. But I can come in here with this one, and I think I'm going to need my paper trimmer for that, because I know I'm not going to cut that straight. And let's come down so it comes down quite a ways in there. No, I want to just line it. I want it to just line it. And then I can come back with this. And I may do this and decide I don't like any of it. But that's okay. That's okay. Now let's just give that flower up here at the top too. I like that wreath. But would I like it better if I'd have come all the way down? I don't think so. You know what? Let's leave that. Let's leave that. And instead, take and cut this at 3 7/8. Yep, 3 7/8. Like that. And then, I thought I had my tag edges over here. I do, there they are. I'm about to revamp this shelf over here to my right again. I have a dish coming in on Friday. And I'm going to see if they will put the hopper in here for me while they are doing a repair, and put this one, the Joey, in the living room. Why, you may ask? Because I cannot get YouTube on any of the Joeys. I can only get them on the main hopper. So if I have them do that, then I can have YouTube in here to watch while I'm working on the big screen instead of on my laptop, which is over on the other side of the room. Okay, this needs to come down. This needs to come down, and that's okay. Just the tag's a little tall. So we can do that. Keep that scrap, it's pretty. Come back in with my 3-inch tag. Kind of center it. Line up my edge. Line up my edge, and I'm going to lose part of my window, but that's okay. Now you could use this pocket for anything. If you wanted to put a journaling notebook in there, a small notebook, you could do that. And why do I have a feeling that's going to come off funny? So I'm going to redo that because I want it to match this way. Didn't look like it was going to come down far enough on this side. That's better. Those we can throw away. You could use this little pocket for anything. Okay, I like that much better. Now let's bring in my other tag punch. I haven't left yet. It's in the Christmas box. I was looking for some filmy trim. I think I've got something in here I can use. I do. Let's use this. No, I don't like that. This might be a little wide, but we'll try it. Okay. Now, go in here and put our punch in here. Now, the other thing we're going to have to watch, and let me do this punch first. See if it'll punch this Mente board. And this is just a little bit wide. For my box. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in and repair that. But I need to make sure that the tag doesn't go past there. So I want to take about, I can take a little bit off of her dress here. And that'll be just fine. And then I have this ribbon. Ooh. No, I'm going to save the ruffly ribbon. Save the ruffly ribbon. Looking over here to see what I have. Nothing that's wide enough, I don't think. But this is too wide. But we can, and it's a little curly. I'll have to press it out later. It's a little curly. But I can take and fold it in half. And then feed it through there. Just like that. Should have went longer. Should have went longer. For now, I'm just going to staple this in place. No, you know what I'm going to do, and I have time. Where are my tweezers? Let's bring out some of this lavender that's in here. So I'm going to hold that ribbon in place. And I'm going to go over here to my lavender. And let's take a piece of this purple sheer. Did you guys catch my video yesterday? Where I am starting to put stuff in my Etsy shop. And I showed 2 journals and some Halloween colored ribbons that are going to go in the shop on Wednesday. But there's a special surprise. So if you watched that video yesterday, and you had to have watched it yesterday, you need to go back and check and make sure that you don't want to grab that item before, well, you don't have to have watched it Wednesday, I guess. But if you want to grab that item before Wednesday, before it goes in my shop, instructions on what you need to do are in that video. Okay, there we go. That's what those tweezers are good for, when you need that extra pair of hands. And I'm going to take and clip those off just a little bit so they're not quite so long. And I'm going to pull them down just like that. And then we have our card pocket for our MemoryDex and a tag to journal on. So that's going to do it for MemoryDex Monday this week. We'll be back with a card, I think, next Monday. But tomorrow I'm off. No, tomorrow's Tag Tuesday. Wednesday I'm off. And then Thursday we have our next color challenge project. And Friday's Friday freebie. So you're not going to, Friday free for all, that's it. So you're going to want to come back for that. So in the meantime, give this envelope thing a try. They're not just for mailing letters. Remember to like, to share, subscribe, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Creative blessings.